We are just getting into a new year, 2025, and the EFCC has already been in the news for all the wrong reasons, with the letters coming from their Kaduna field office where an EFCC operative stole $30,000 and is now on the run. Possibly he's out of the country already. What will make an EFCC operative to steal $30,000? That's practically sacrificing his entire service in the agency. What will make him take such a risk when he knows that after putting in 35 years of service at the EFCC, he will still enjoy his federal pensions and all other perks that come with working with the EFCC? This is coming after a few days. In this same January, the EFCC announced that they arrested 10 of their operatives in their Lagos office for stealing $350,000, including jewelries and other items. So in this January alone, EFCC has lost approximately $400,000 to their own men. This is in-house, not talking about suspects that they go around and arrest. They have lost this huge sum of money to their men. It shows that there is a culture of stealing in the EFCC. Not that all of them are involved, but at least with this statistic, it means that they have a material problem. And it shows that their motivation for working for the EFCC is for what they can get, what money that they can earn, not to uphold the law. That explains why they are always involved in breaking down people's homes. They're always acting as if they are a counter-terrorist agency, just like the police or maybe the army. They are not supposed to be breaking down people's homes, breaking down their doors just because of financial crimes. No, it doesn't make any sense. People who commit financial crimes are no threat to national security. No, they don't pose any immediate threat. So they don't need to use brute force to try to arrest these people. So you can understand what motivates them in moving the way they move, in invading people's homes at midnight, breaking down their doors without even properly identifying themselves, doing all sorts of things without following due process. They're only motivated by what they can steal from these people, because when they break into people's homes, anything they lay their hands on, they might never account for it. They might never enter them as exhibits when they get to the office. The people might complain and say they are losing social things, but it will always fall on deaf ears. In this situation that they have lost exhibits, money they seize from suspects, how are they going to reimburse them? Assuming they lose in court. Because when they confiscate items from suspects, they still have to go to court, and when they win the cases in court, then the money will now belong to the federal government. But in this case, if they lose them, how are they going to reimburse? Is it the government that is going to make a budget? Because the items, of course, are missing. Maybe when they sell other items, like they have advertised that they will auction many cars they seize from suspects, maybe the proceeds from these vehicles, when they sell them, they will now use that to reimburse the missing dollars.
EFCC bust everywhere.
You see, this theft exposes a lot of fundamental issues at the EFCC. It shows that their recruitment process is seriously flawed. They do not go for people of integrity, because once money is involved, they must make sure they go for people of integrity who will not compromise because money is involved. Not just people who will not compromise because money is involved, but also people who will never have the tendency to abuse their powers. Because the abuse of power is the major issue EFCC has with the populace. They are always overbearing. They don't follow the proper procedure. They break into people's homes, not minding the trauma they cause to the people, because they are simply motivated by what they will steal. So they don't give a damn what you feel, what you go through. They just break down the door, pack everything they can lay their hands on, and arrest the suspects and be on the way. This is literally operating like armed robbers. Of course, there have been many times armed robbers who were wearing EFCC uniforms invaded people's homes, assaulted and stole from them. On one occasion, one man was kidnapped. Eventually, many of them were caught. So it is time, anyone that is supervising the EFCC at the federal level, it is time for them to speak up. There's been 3 major negative events the past 2 weeks alone. It is time for them to stop pretending as if they are not aware of it At least the incident at Oka where an EFCC operative lost his life should make them speak up. Let them set up an inquiry to find out what is actually happening at the EFCC. It is time to reorganize the force. Yes, they are seeing themselves as a counter-terrorism agency. Part of the reforms that they should make, they must open accounts with the central bank. Once they seize exhibits that are as huge as $5,000, even $2,000 upwards, they need to make sure they deposit that exhibit at the central bank within 24 hours of the seizure. That way, they can maintain the integrity of the agency, not just the agency, but also the integrity of the exhibit. Because tampering with exhibit is also against the law. Law enforcers should not be seen as breaking the law. Why is it possible for any agent in the EFCC to be able to get into the storage room or the vault to touch or tamper with the evidence or other exhibits? It's not supposed to be happening. It's supposed to be only when the court case involving the said exhibit is up, that's they are going to court on that particular day, and the legal team will now have to sign off on the exhibit from the storage room. The people manning the storage room will now pass a paper to them. They will sign that they are giving them this evidence like it is done at the police station. It is now beyond the arresting officers. It is now between the legal team and the court, and they must be presenting the evidence in court the same day. If there is no need to present the evidence, there is also no need to take the evidence to court. They must be able to be following all the procedure. Anyway, it is better, like already said, for them to have a special account at the central bank where they will deposit all exhibits, where they can also retrieve them the same way they deposited it at the central bank whenever they need them to go to court, or in any case that the court has delivered final judgment on a final forfeiture of the said exhibit to the federal government. Now to some calls from some quarters that EFCC should focus solely on politically exposed persons. It's actually a nice recommendation. The National Assembly can deliberate on this to see if they can amend the law to effect the changes. After all, the police already has a special fraud unit that handles all sorts of frauds, whether it is scamming on the internet or anything. They are the agency that used to handle this before EFCC was set up. So it will definitely reduce the abuse of power by EFCC operatives. It will reduce the profiling of young Nigerians. How can EFCC officials see a Nigerian youth just because the person is in possession of a laptop? They will automatically profile the person as a scammer without any evidence whatsoever. Just like the man EFCC operatives invaded his home at Oka, the EFCC released a statement saying that they have established that the man is a scammer, that he is involved in medical coding. Although they didn't release all the information about how they arrive at the fact that he's a scammer, but medical coding is actually a nice paying job that fetches more than $60,000 per annum in the United States. So all these types of profiling should stop. This day and age where people can make thousands of dollars just with their smartphone on social media, not to talk of with laptops, they should just stop the profiling of Nigerian youths. Nigerian youths are trying hard to earn a living. Not all of them are scammers. Another reform that is necessary at the EFCC is the removal of the policemen that are permanently attached to them. Yes, this will go a long way in reducing their abuse of power. In any case that they need to arrest someone, they can always invite the police to help them arrest the person. If they suspect that someone is involved in fraud, they can always approach a court to block the person's bank account. And if they can get the person's bank account, that means they already have his phone number. They can call the person to come that they want to interrogate him, that they are seeing something, that's why they blocked his account. In any case the person runs away or refuses to show up at their office, they can now plan on how to arrest the person. Now back to the recruitment process at the EFCC. They actually need to employ more lawyers and accountants. Lawyers are trained in logic. They can conduct investigations than many EFCC operatives. Accountants are trained in figures. They know how to trace them. So they need to employ more professionals, not just any Dick and Harry in the streets. Can you imagine a trained lawyer or a trained accountant running away with $30,000? It doesn't make any sense. And once they employ professionals, they have to pay them better. Not that paying people better wages actually reduces the fact that they will not be corrupt. No. Corrupt person is already corrupt, whether he is wealthy or not. But all this boils down to wrong training. They need to train them better, employ people who understand their roles, who are ready to follow procedure, especially people who are not motivated by what they will gain, because it is that motivation that drives them to break the law, abuse their powers to the extent that one will contemplate invading someone's home at the dead of the night. Thanks.